and I'll just crack on.
Action.
What, on screen? That's a bit crude, isn't it? Cracking on screen. Is that what your other hand's doing now? And I'll just stroke my beard while I'm just.
Stroke the beard while the other hand's doing something else. Lads.
Wank. Right. I'll do my intro. This is just going to be a take your seats. So I'll do the intro, then I'll introduce you two, and then it's fucking free for all, right?
Cool.
And we'll get this over and done within 15 minutes. It'll be fine. It's not that good a movie, right?
Oh. He means 15 minutes. He wants a bit of personal time after that. His hands still busy.
You're drinking wine out of your Dr. Who mug like I was last week.
I got the idea from you, but it's his vodka this time. I thought I tried to get Matthew to bring it in last time and he wouldn't do it, but I think he didn't get what I was meaning.
Yeah.
So I nicked your idea. I thought it was cool.
Right, lads, are we ready?
Ready, John.
Welcome all in this special 50th episode of Take Your Seats. We are reviewing the 1996 Doctor Who movie. I am your host, John Aitken, and co-hosting is my good friend, Suki Kark. Hello, Suki. How the fuck are you, mate?
I am fantastic. Isn't it brilliant? 50th episode. What such a great feeling.
Yeah, I know. And I picked the one this time. So on the 100th episode, you can pick yours if you want. That's the deal.
Yeah, that's definitely a deal. Definitely.
The idea of doing 50 more of these is a bit of a bloody mindfuck, to be fair.
Especially with the caliber of guests that we have on these days.
Yeah, we've already come on to ruin it for you, Sucky.
The voices you hear are our guests today. Joining us for this momentous occasion, we've invited the Progtor Who stalwarts, Bob Fleming and Craig Stimpson. Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hey, hello there, John and Suki. Hello.
How are you both?
I'm back again after a week. After a dramatic exit, I'm back on the Progtor Who feed again.
It does just feel that way, doesn't it? It was like, is it time already?
Yeah, it's Friday night. Just say automated to my computer with it being Friday night. I have to do something. Completely forgot I'd left. Anyway, yeah, grand, John. How are you?
It's good to see you, Bob. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be honest.
Normally, at this point, I ask the guest why they picked this film, but this is my pick. So,
why have you picked
it, John? Did I pick this film? I picked this film because Progtor Who have done this film before on the Progtor Who feed before I joined. So this was the only opportunity I could have to pick this film because I wanted to do it just for completionist reasons for Doctor Who. So, yeah, fuck you, Craig. Don't give me any jip. This isn't Progtor Who, all right?
What do you mean? It's what I'm here for, isn't it? What's the point of having me and Bob on if we're just going to sit and be really, really good?
Wow. Okay. No, we'll have none of that, Craig. You just get back in your fucking box, mate.
So you've completed your doctor's.
He's dominating, isn't it?
This has already gone off the rails already.
It has. Yeah. Right, let's get it back on the rails. Doctor Who movie. Let's go around the table and ask everybody their thoughts on or when they first watched it and all that sort of stuff. Bob, I'm going to come to you.
Right. Well, because I live in York now, but I lived in Northallerton when this came out, and I got the train. I think it was 6:30 in the morning to York from Northallerton, expecting this massive queue at HMV. So I wanted to get there first in the front of the queue. So I got there like 7:15 in the morning. I think they opened at 9. And I was the only one there. I couldn't believe it. I genuinely thought there'd be fucking queues for miles. So I made sure I got there early to get this. So anyway, I had to wait around for a couple of hours. Then I purchased this video and I ran to the train station. Just couldn't wait to get home and watched it. I think I watched it 4, maybe 5 times that day. And I was just like, I've never seen Doctor Who kind of look so good, be so modern. It was something that I couldn't wait to show my friends and family, which I never would have done with Classic Who. Because it was kind of like you could watch it. It looked good. It was sort of the time film. So yeah, that's my. It's weird. I've not watched it. I don't think since we reviewed it on Progtor Who, which was a long time ago. Yeah. So I've always sort of looked at it with just complete and utter adulation and love for that particular memory. You know, it was the only tiny bit of Doctor Who we had for 16 years, apart from all the, obviously, the Virgin novels and the Big Finish stuff. But it was the only sort of thing we had on TV. But yeah, I've now watched it to review it again with definitely a much more cynical eye. I still loved it, but there's a lot of bits in it that are a bit like, oh my god.
There are definitely odd choices. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, it was just, yeah, I can't stop smiling when I watch it still. That's the main thing. And yeah, couldn't believe there wasn't a massive QHMV in the morning that this video really.
Yes.
Rather overestimating the fandom there a little bit, I think.
You weren't the only one, Bob. You weren't the only one.
So excited.
What about you, Craig? What's your story about the film?
Well, very similar-ish to Bob, really. I mean, there was lots of release dates about this coming out that all turned out to be dummy. So I had many visits to HMV, kind of waiting for the release and going in and being disappointed. And when this came out, I kind of shot down to HMV in Wakefield. I was teaching in Wakefield at the time. So in my lunch break, shot down and got, I'm assuming, I can't remember this, but I'm assuming I had it. So I got it during the school day. So it's got to have been at lunch, really. Picked it up, very excited. It was a big event, coming home to watch Doctor Who. What bloody happens on that night? We get a phone call from Matthew's mum and dad who say, oh, we're just going to pop round for a bit. Which was like, I really can't believe this. This is really not happening. Exactly, John. So it kind of put it back. So all I was doing the entire time they were there was waiting for them to go, because all I could see was this box, the video box there, waiting by the side of the TV. Of course, they went, and it was pretty much, this was the event of the evening. So already my day had been ruined a bit because I'd had to wait. Put it on, dead excited, just like Bob. The soundtrack comes on, burst into tears, just so emotional. And Matthew turns to me and goes, oh, stop fucking crying. I was like, oh, I can't believe it. He'd never seen me watch Doctor Who before. This obviously new, because when I met him in 1990, Doctor Who was off air. And this was, to me, was like a massive, big event.
It was huge, man.
And he would now. He gets it now completely, but at the time, he just didn't get it at all. And then I just watched the film, and just like Bob, I loved it. I was in awe of this film. I must have watched it so many times. I couldn't possibly tell how many times I've watched this film. But again, like Bob, I haven't watched it since we last reviewed it. And I think that's because when we reviewed it last time, the flaws of it kind of came out a bit more, and it kind of, it's beautiful. Gold-plated armor got chiseled away quite a bit. So yeah, really strong memories of this film, but it's far from perfect looking at it these days.
Lovely. Well, what about you, Suki?
If you're going to swap in Bob's tale of Northallerton for Wolverhampton, it's exactly the same, right? Because I was working in a foundry on nights, and I never went to sleep. And I thought, okay, I'll just wake up, stay up, and I'll go straight to WH Smith. And then, like Bob, I was expecting a massive queue there. What happens? Nobody there. Right, so I picked up my copy, got home. I had to go to sleep because I was knackered. And then when I woke up, I ended up watching it about 3 or 4 times myself. Yeah. And my family were just getting fed up because they wanted to watch their own shows. And I remember my mum, what the hell are you doing? Just switch it off. Right?
How fucking dare they?
Yeah. Switch it off. What are you doing? Right? And that was my initial reaction for getting that DVD, the VHS. Now the film itself, as these pair just says, I haven't watched this now for a number of years, and watching it again, there is loads of flaws, but it's still a really great story. It's got Paul McGann is magnificent in it, right? Edgar Roberts just chews the scenery, and I think he's just enjoying everything that he's doing in there, and I quite like the character of Grace. And yeah, so all I'm saying is, it has got its flaws, but it's just a nostalgic, happy memory for me. Go on, John.
Yeah, well, I've seen this before, I imagine. I have vague memories of having seen it. I was aware of Paul McGann's Doctor and all that sort of stuff. But so this is kind of my second viewing of it. And I was viewing it the first time without any previous Doctor Who thoughts to it, really. I was probably just watching it kind of like it's just a film. But this time, I've been a little bit inured in Doctor Who lore and all that bullshit. So I saw a lot more in it this time than I think I did at the first time. So Yeah, there are flaws. There are problems and inconsistencies and plot holes and the like. But that's all right.
I have a
It's Doctor Who, isn't it?
I have a
Yeah.
question for
It is
Craig.
Doctor. Yeah.
I have a question for Craig. So you've never, you've always said you've never fancied a Doctor. Paul McGann is fucking gorgeous.
No,
Like I'm probably 95% straight, but like he is absolutely stunning. Do you not think?
No,
Honestly.
I can see it. I suppose now you said I've never really thought about him before. Well, I have obviously, but no, there's just something. No, he's too. When you see him without his wig on, for instance.
Yeah.
No, I just don't. No, he doesn't do it for me at all.
Oh,
I suppose the ward, the kind of the Night of the Doctor episode we get is probably him. He's charming, but he doesn't make me kind of want to get down and dirty in the sack with it. It's kind of like he's just no. I don't know what it is.
Twiddle on his Sonic.
I don't want to twiddle on his Sonic.
I just
I did check it out once or twice when he's in those trousers.
It's just like the blue eyes. I just love his Doctor.
Oh yeah.
He's
very handsome. He's very handsome, but there's a difference between handsome and fancy.
So who's the sexiest Doctor for you, Bob?
Me. Probably. I don't know. Who's my sexy Doctor?
Jodie.
I was going to say
Jodie. Yeah.
That's a bit obvious, though, isn't
But
it?
if you've got to choose one of the men,
Thought of the
Yeah,
girl
if you got
one.
okay, so if you've got to choose one of the blokes, then it's Peter
Probably.
Davis.
I mean, well, was it though? I wouldn't mind a bang on Baker.
what Tom?
Yeah, Tom
Really?
Baker.
With those sideburns? Oh no!
I know. I just think because you get you so pissed that you take the edge off.
Oh, actually, maybe Matt Smith. Matt Smith, yeah.
That's
Matt
what
Smith.
poppers are for.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind doing some bumming and poppers with Tom Baker, like.
Hold on, let's find out what
That's
John thinks.
fucking image.
Go on, John.
Yeah, well, Colin Baker for me.
You put Colin Baker.
Oh,
I'll give him a good rodding. It'd be fine.
Who would
Nobody
you?
cares.
Which Doctor would you fuck, Sucky?
I just said Matt Smith.
Oh, Matt Smith.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
What about
all
you?
skin and bone. I actually don't know. I suppose he's more do it to me. It's kind of
Can't
Maybe-
move on until you tell us.
oh god, Jesus, really? Okay, I'm gonna go with Chris Eccleston, the best cock, I reckon. I'll go with him.
Chris Eccleston, great actor, beautiful cock.
Veiny.
Back to the film. Back to the film.
Hot takes on everything. Nice.
Back to the
Are
film.
your listeners used to this level of
No.
smuttiness that me and Bob bring to?
Well,
I don't.
I was actually gonna lend into something serious. That Paul McGann, right? He's so unique as a Doctor. So like you've got doctors who are similar. So you've got like, for example, Troughton, McCoy, Matt Smith. You know, they're sort of run down that vein. You know, sort of Tom Baker, Capaldi. You know, there's similarities in a lot of Doctors. I think the only one you could maybe like him to slightly is David Tennant from his sort of romantic side, but there's no one quite like Paul McGann. And there's something so beautiful and romantic, and I don't know. He just oozes
Yeah.
some sort of magic.
Well, you can see why Grace kisses him, and she asked for the return kiss as well.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, they had that little kiss as well. So I mean, there's
Such a
kiss.
sexy girl.
This whole thing. Remember back in '96?
Oh
the
my
Doctor-
Oh god, it was massive, wasn't it?
And this was a big talking point. The Doctor kisses his companion, or the Doctor
3
basically just
times.
kisses.
Yeah, well,
what-
yeah.
Would you class the first as a proper kiss? 'Cause the
No,
first-
No, not
the
at all.
first
but
one
No, he's
was
lip
not-
to lip
Yeah.
3 times, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's not a kiss as such.
First kiss was just more excitement, and he's getting
Yeah.
into himself, and then the final
Second-
one.
I love that.
romantic,
I love
and
that kiss actually. I
Yeah,
didn't
the-
like the second one or the third one for that
third
matter.
one,
Fireworks.
You lot are a bunch of perverts.
Well, yeah, but like, yeah, it was just the most weirdest thing you'd never ever experienced as a Doctor Who fan. Obviously, it was right and relevant at the time, and it was only us nerds that it sort of offended in some weird way. But I think after a couple of watches, you got over it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah,
but
because it wasn't like a full-on snog like you used to get in things at the time. It was just a quick, and it didn't. Even now, it still doesn't feel like intimate. It feels more of an excited kiss, like a moment of I don't know. Move on.
I do think that this film is the stepping stone between it is the stepping stone between classic Who and new Who.
Yeah.
But I think this introduced the romance element, to introduce the higher levels of sort of quality of thing that would be carried on into the Russell T Davies era and all that stuff. So I think there were some parts of it that maybe shouldn't have been carried on, and there were some really weird choices insofar as like Eric Roberts and
Well,
have
Eric,
an American master and things like that, and his eyes and the snake
Yeah,
and his
yeah, I agree.
slime.
he
was
was a big actor at the time, wasn't he? So that's why he was cast. And do you know what? When he's doing more subtle stuff, like in the ambulance, for example, when he's with the Asian child, he's in the ambulance. He's kind of funny. You know when he's doing his deadpan, like when he goes into the hospital, he's speaking to that lady, and he goes, "The Asian child," and all that. It's that his subtle performance is brilliant.
Yeah.
But to be fair, even Paul McGann gets a bit, over the top at times. But they are much better when they're the ending is just like, fucking hell. That's the kitchen sink. Where's that?
I actually really like Eric Roberts as the master. Actually, I think he's really good at it. I agree with exactly what John said, though. I think it wasn't so much his acting; it was almost like suddenly from nowhere, the master develops all these unusual things, like the spit and the venom, the metamorphosis into snakes, and I know he can take green eyes, and I kind of wondered, and I don't think I'm right in this at all, but when I watched, I thought, is that meant to be some kind of continuity from Survival? Because of course he kind of got the cat thing to it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because you see the eyes right at the beginning, I thought maybe he had gone full cat.
That's what
turned into.
You've not seen Survival, have you, John? So this is the final episode we see him. He turns, he gets like he's in cheetah people, and they kind of take over people, and you begin to change into them.
He goes full pussy.
Well, I'll tell you, that'd be a lucky puss.
I tell you what I do like the idea of is the sort of when both the Doctor and the Master come back to life. I don't think Sylvester McCoy should be in it as much as I love Sylvester McCoy. I get why. Was it Philip Segal or whatever he's called? The guy that sort of put it all together, really. I get why he wants to bring it back for that continuity element and have the regeneration, but he was a fan doing that. That was a problem. And I think when they brought Eccleston back, it was completely right. Just to start, off you go. No baggage.
I can imagine it turning off an audience completely.
The BBC were reluctant to bring McCoy back altogether. They did not want him in there because they associated him with the decline of Doctor Who, and they didn't want him in there. And Philip Seagal put his foot down. He says, "Look, if you want to do it, we want him in." Now, I do believe he should have come in. If they'd have gone to a series, he should have come in then. He shouldn't have been in this episode. He should have started straight off with Paul McGann, just landing there and just having the adventure straight with Paul McGann.
I think the main problem is with it is how shit it is for he gets killed. Like, why the fuck would he walk out of the TARDIS when there's machine guns and all sorts going on?
It's kind of accidental, isn't it? He's kind of.
I do love that he lands in America and the first thing that happens is he gets shot.
I mean, I know eventually what kills him is, Grace doing the operation and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I just, as much as it pains me to say it would have given an extra 20 minutes to a story straight in, off you go.
See, I actually love Sylvester McCoy. I completely agree with Bob and Suki on this, that really it was a failing of the film to bring him in. But for me personally, it really adds that. It's what I'd waited for to see Sylvester McCoy. And I think Sylvester McCoy is genius. He looks the most doctorish, the most mature Doctor.
Yeah. So,
John.
My turn, Suki.
Okay,
you've all talked about it. Like, Sylvester McCoy in this is fantastic. I don't like his nipple hair, but I do like the fact that there's Sylvester.
What?
I don't remember the nipple hair.
I never looked at his nipples.
Oh my god!
I did not tease to see his nipple hair, but I did like it was. I liked how he was in there. I liked how he was in that first bit of the film. I liked the fact that he was an aged Doctor coming to the end of his life, and he knew that, and he was, and thus he transformed the TARDIS into a comfortable sort of snug place, and it's
did he know? Yeah, but did he know that he was coming to the end of his life? I'm assuming he doesn't know that he's going to walk out into a gunfight or get himself killed. I don't think he knew that he was coming to. I think he just decided. Yeah, I think he's just doing his. He's decided he's matured. He's got more the clothes that he's got on, which makes him more. The hair was longer. The whole look of his TARDIS was totally different.
It's almost like he'd lived through a lot that we haven't seen that had aged him or matured him, maybe the loss of Ace.
I'm not disputing. For me, as a fan, it was glorious. It looked amazing. This TARDIS is fucking by far and away leagues above anything else we've ever seen as a TARDIS. It was massive.
See, we see it as McGann's TARDIS, but it's actually McCoy's TARDIS, isn't it?
Well, yeah. or gothic. It just has everything, loads of little quirky things. It's just it's
many leather-bound books.
Yes.
Many leather-bound books.
I could imagine when I did the lockdown with Bob. Where would you like to be locked down? Definitely that TARDIS. It's got a beautiful console. It's got gorgeous close. That reading area is so inviting to sit and read a book and have a cup of tea there. Love it.
Yeah. The only problem I do have with the opening and McCoy's bit is the actual initial voiceover.
Yeah,
I always think it's a sign somebody couldn't work out how to do exposition right, or they were 100%. Skipping a lunch, a bunch of stuff. So it's an abundance of backstory that you've got to describe, and if you're starting off a film with that, you should maybe consider you shouldn't be starting the film there, and maybe you should start with just Paul McGann. That'd be the reason why we would miss out the McCoy bit. But the fact that we start with McCoy, but we get a McGann overdub of like what's going on is a bit weird. And another thing that, and this isn't annoying, but I know he's the Doctor, he's a master of time and space, but do you have to have so many fucking clocks in this film? Clocks everywhere. Yeah, we get it. All right. Even the clock sort of reminds him who he is and stuff like that. It's,
but the clocks are everywhere. If you walk around, there are clocks everywhere. There would have been clocks everywhere. Most people wouldn't have the clocks on their phone because
talking of
there's 4 in this room. Yeah.
Well, talking of clocks, the way the way Eric Roberts, he said, what did I got? I've got it in my notes here. He goes, I've got it here somewhere, I promise you. We must get to the that's fine. We must get to the Doctor before he finds a cock. That's literally, he doesn't say L. He doesn't say L. I'm sure he doesn't say
no.
I watched it twice. He says, we must get to the Doctor before he finds a cock.
That's not to find one, is it? Really? It's just most.
I would have got through the
So basically, Paul McGann's on the hunt for cock, and then that's just trying to stop.
God, I've been in that situation so many times.
I'm not being funny. When Eric Roberts gets the snake in his mouth, he just stands there staring out window all night, just dribbling jizz all down his chin. So obviously he's had his fill for cock, hasn't he? So I don't know why he wants to get
all there. All those security guys lined up. I thought, God, he's a master of massissive heavy comer.
I'm going to bring this slightly back from the cock talk, if you don't mind.
I'll bring it back.
Christian mythology.
Oh God, it is so fun, isn't it? Really fun. My two things around.
I've got perfect.
Load of wank.
Segue, John. Great segue.
Yeah. There's so many parallels, isn't there, John?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I don't know what you're laughing for, Bob. There's a bunch of like.
There is so much. The whole thing, yeah.
Bunch of Jesus references for Doctor Who.
They really set Paul McGann's Doctor up as Jesus, don't they? Because you've got the Who Am I, you've got the Shroud, you've got the resurrection from the tomb, you've got the crown of thorns almost. There are so many elements of Catholic mythology in here and religion, and it's just right through that confusion, finding yourself, realizing that you're someone special. There's a lot in there.
Yeah,
right. The Master as a Snake is like the biggest sort of key to that. Is the tempting Adam and Eve thing. Yeah. So not sure, but successfully we've transitioned away from cock.
Well, actually, we're going to come back, John, because isn't she a right dirty bitch? Because there she is in bed, the Master's wife. He's looking all rippled by the window. And call me Master. Oh, come back to bed. He's like, oh my God, you not. So obviously, even when he's just transformed from the snake into the Master.
That scene as well, when he turns around and strangles her and just goes, fucking that was creepy.
There's a cut of that, isn't there, where you hear a neck get snapped. And I'd love to actually see that. Not that I really like the sound of people's necks cutting, but it feels like it just they do it later on, don't they? They have the sound then when someone gets killed. I can't remember what it is. I'd love to actually see it as it was meant to be done. I understood they did it because it had to be changed for the age range of the audience and the certificate. I'd love to see it in its uncut edit.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd love
to. I would love to see it if it was uncut, actually, thinking about it. Or cut. I don't mind
my God, more cock references.
Right, I'm going to say something serious then. So,
I tried.
The regeneration. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so you've got basically the Master and the Doctor coming back to life simultaneously, kind of thing. So obviously the Master's a very dark way, and the Doctor's likened to the Frankenstein sort of gets alive, and I quite like the way that it's cut in. The guy's watching the film, and I quite like the way it's cut in. But like you're saying about the Jesus thing, or Jesus, as I'm going to call him, it's very much like it is very godlike, isn't it? It's very reborn, proper emphasis on it.
Yeah.
And when they both were gurning, because it reminded me of when we chatted about the war games last week. Did you notice the gurning?
Yeah.
Did it annoy you?
It didn't annoy me because at least they tried a little bit to do the sort of morphing the two faces into one.
I
Which
agree.
I could see the sense in it, but he was gurning. He didn't need to do that. But I didn't like that particularly. But I did like. No. Answer me this: what is it about jelly babies? What is it? Are they magic?
No, it's just Tom Baker's. He just offers them around quite regularly. It's just a past reference.
Yeah. Pat Stratton did it first, but then Tom Baker took it over. Yeah.
But why didn't McGann have his own thing? Why did he have to nick?
There's
it's just for the nerds, isn't it? It's just for us, this little win, because you get it every now and again with us.
The fan service is you've got Gold Dust, obviously John Smith when the lad fills out the form. He's got the long scarf when he's looking for clothes, the yo-yo in the bag, obviously the jelly babies, the sonic screwdriver. There's a lot of fan service going into this, little things that, I mean, when I first watched it, I picked up on them and I started like squealing like a child, when they came out. But no, a jelly babies, it's always been the disarming, friendly gesture.
No, but it seemed like it was almost like hypnotizing jelly babies.
No,
I actually wish the other doctors, because Matt Smith had he had his jammy Dodgers for a bit, one episode, and then obviously Jodie Whittaker had a custard creams, and I actually really wish he just made a bit more of those in the later Doctors, because as a kid I loved the Jelly Babies link with Tom Baker. I really did. I just wish they'd kept it with the more modern Doctors as well.
It's an offering.
It's just references for the fans, but they weren't being pushed down everybody's throats. I mean, if anybody picked up on the Jelly Babies, of course, that'd go like from the 70s, all right.
Well, most people tuning into this on BBC One, was it Bank Holiday Monday, it was shown, would have been remembering what Doctor Who was like. It was like, most people, I think, were doing it from a bit of a nostalgic point of view. So the Jelly Babies would have been awesome to them.
Well, also in America, Tom Baker was the Doctor. He got reshown more than any other Doctor, so that's the Doctor they knew.
Am I right in thinking that this film was initially meant to start off an American version of Doctor Who?
Yeah,
bit of both.
Yeah. It was made by Philip Siegel's company, and they were going to do pilot episodes, which turned out to be a pilot TV movie, and from there they were going to then. If the ratings are high enough in America, they were going to go into a series. Now, of course, what happened was in America, it was shown up against Roseanne's finale. So it wasn't going to get massive ratings. Roseanne, of course, had all the people watching that last episode of her show. So they only had a small amount of viewers on there. Even with the repeat, it didn't get that much reviews. Over in the UK, it had 9.1 million. Which is one of the biggest rated Doctor Who had for many, many years. Right, so it was a success over here, but the money was over in America, and when they didn't get the ratings, they just said, no, we ain't going to continue with this. And that's why we went back into all development hell for the next, 9 years.
There's a lot of fighting, a lot of clunkiness going on from the writing, production, BBC, people having the say, people, interfering. It should have been, as with these things, probably one man's vision, which would have been Philip Segal, but it was a lot of interference from everyone else, and he fought a lot, I think, for certain things.
Yeah, too. But you've also, as it says, Philip Segal decided he wanted to do it, and this was in 1989, 88, or whatever it was, just as the series was finishing, and he got permission to carry on. He then moved companies, Steven Spielberg and all this, and then he was like going full ahead. But then you got other departments within the BBC, like BBC Worldwide or BBC Enterprises, or whoever they were. They were all developing projects as well. So all this impacted on Philip Siegel's vision of his story. So, but one by one, all these projects fell to one side. The Dark Dimensions film, that fell to one side. I think there was something else that there was going to happen that fell to one side, and then so Philip Siegel had complete no hassle from anybody, and this is the way it was going to go, and this is how this film came about. But it was all to make sure that we had an American version of this show. But unfortunately, Roseanne, they've been put a spanner in the works.
Bitch.
As a pilot episode, how would you rate it if you were brand new to Doctor Who?
Cool. Well, if you're brand new, we can't be like that because we wouldn't have a.
It'd be up to John. This.
As I say, John, what about you? If this
in the 90s, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got all the bits that you need in Doctor Who to make it good. So it's got the connectivity with the previous Doctor Who's. It's got a charming and sort of like very magnetic personality-wise Doctor McGann. It's the introduction of romance in it might have been like something that couldn't have carried on. It would have been a bit of a blocker to everything. Was McGann going to be the Doctor for anything going forward? Was that the plan?
Yeah,
he'd got a contract, hadn't he?
Yeah,
right. I see.
And wasn't Grace going to be the companion?
Yeah, Grace and Chang-Li, Yi So.
Because I liked him as well. He doesn't get as much,
both of them were supposed to come back.
It looked like that at the end. It looked like they were setting it up for them two to be companions. But yeah, we've got problems with like things like the Doctor is half human.
Oh,
since fucking when?
3 and it's never been referred to back
ever again.
Really? It's like a blip.
There's been many. I think there's been bits written about it. They've sort of made excuses for it, because it wasn't the real Eye of Harmony. You know, because the Eye of Harmony's on Gallifrey. It's not.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Well, we'll come on to that. Yeah.
Well, it's not the Eye of Harmony. It's an Eye of Harmony, which is used to power the TARDIS or whatever. But it got mixed up because it was all fucked or whatever. That's one of the excuses I think that Sonny's half human.
Have we seen the cloister room before as well?
No, we've heard the cloister bell.
We've heard the cloister, yeah.
But we haven't had the cloister room itself.
No.
So I can imagine. In fact, when I was watching it, I was thinking, "Wow, this is cool." We're seeing, just like when we watched the War Games, how we suddenly got canon stuff being put in there in the last couple of episodes of that, and I thought that was nice, and I like to see Father in the TARDIS and some things explained and things. So, yeah. I liked that part of it.
I mean, going back to when the Doctor's actually with Grace and he goes to a house for the first time, and he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know anything at that point. Because this is the beginning. It's quite exposition, but clunky exposition heavy. So he says, how does he know that he's only got 13 lives? He doesn't remember anything.
Yeah.
It's obviously
coming back. Obviously.
Well, yeah, but it's obviously for the plot. But it's put in a bit clunkily. It could be put in slightly later. But obviously at that point, you've got the Master then telling Chan-Li or whatever he's called. Is he called Chan-Li?
Yeah.
Or Lee Chan. Is it Lee Chan or Chan-Li?
Chang-Li.
I put Lee. Yeah,
Chang-Li. So the Master's obviously telling him about their lives and all that. And I just I think there's little bits like that I picked up on this time that I thought, oh, clunky.
You can see it about 45 minutes as well. The Doctor and Grace, they have this massive conversation, which is, again, like John said, just exposition. It's like knowledge dump about past references. Literally bang on 45 minutes, because I stopped after 30 minutes. I kind of did I was watching it whilst doing lots of B&B stuff. So I kind of watched it for half an hour at a time, almost like a mini episode. I noticed it was like bang on pretty much halfway through the movie. They get this next set of information. So yeah, the knowledge dump at the beginning, it's on the way back to the TARDIS, if I'm not mistaken. You get all the information about Gallifrey and all that stuff coming through.
Go on, Suki. I was just going to say that bit about you getting the information dumps at certain times, that you could put that down to commercial breaks in America, right? Because there's a TV movie, so they might just have decided just to time certain pieces of information to be dumped right after a commercial break. Go on, John.
No, I was going to say I really like the conflict, not the conflict, but when the motorcycle cop is there and he pulls a gun yet never points it at the policeman, and when he holds it towards him, he doesn't touch the trigger at all. I really like the care and attention
that
to
is
that.
great.
I knew that you guys would love that, so that's why I loved that. But what I didn't like is when they get on the bike and they fuck off, and they're riding on the bike, and out of fucking nowhere, she says, "Great, at last I meet the right man, and he's from another planet." Nobody was talking to her. Why did she choose that moment in the middle of a bike ride?
I was going to say, so
that was more of the clunky shit that I was starting to get annoyed with.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I do love there's a proper car chase in Doctor Who. Not a fucking John Pertwee half an hour fucking round on hovercrafts and tricycles or whatever. Like a proper American car chase. Like, I love that. I love the fact, stand back before I'll shoot myself. It's very Doctor Who.
That is very Doctor Who.
And very Paul McGann. You know, that's exactly.
And then it's the way Grace takes over and does the shooting of the car.
Yeah.
And shoot the bike. It's the companion always does the violent act. The Doctor never does. It just came through brilliantly.
Yeah.
The morgue assistant.
Yeah, Will Sasso.
I liked him. He was watching Frankenstein in a morgue at night in a storm, and there was no shits given with it. He was happy.
He's fucking brilliant. He loves the morgue, didn't he?
It was
a good cast, I think, actually, on the whole.
Well, when he goes to when that guy goes to the fancy dress party, and he's got that his fancy dress comprises of a Nixon mask. And he's even got his own fucking name badge still on, so it's the shittest fancy dress thing ever. He obviously gave no shit about that either, to be fair.
It's great. I mean, but I think he's funny. He's proper American humour of the time and now, really. You know, that whole
it was good.
It was good comedy.
Will Sasso is quite a well-known actor now in America. He's got his own TV primetime TV show called United before, and he's been on like loads of all these Chuck Lorre sitcoms. So he's quite a well-known actor.
What about the guy that's obviously made the beryllium clock, whatever it's called, and he's doing that hum? Now, is that a link to the spiders or to the?
It's just doing like he's trying to
why would a human someplace have a reference to a Doctor Who fucking TV show?
Well, it just seemed completely strange the way. Well, not strange.
Well, he's just trying to keep calm, isn't he? Because it's all kicking off and going to shit. It's just like
sense.
Yeah, Zen.
Okay.
Although at the end when it all goes back to normal or whatever, you see him at the party and he just looks like a complete psychopath. He just goes, no reason.
How could it go back to normal when the Doctor has the actual chip?
Oh, the end is dubious.
Can we talk about the end? Because I truly loved. I really like Tuck said, it's got a real special place in my heart, this film, but I do not understand the end. I have no idea, and I never have done. I don't get it at all.
I've written down here, cool, the Master's dead, glad we'll never see him again. He gets absorbed into the eye of fucking Horus or whatever the hell it is.
Having looked like Megan from The Exorcist on so many occasions.
So did that continue over? Was he part of the TARDIS at some point, or did he, when he next emerges, I don't know when that is, presumably in New Who at some point.
In New Who, yeah.
Was that Derek Jacobi or something?
Yeah, Derek Jacobi,
Then how did he get from this Eye of Horus or whatever?
It's in the same way that Misty regenerated.
It's never ever explained. Every time the Master's in peril at the end of an episode or a serial, right? It's never explained how he appears a few stories down the line. I mean, Anthony Ainley's
Gordon of the 70s.
Yeah, Anthony Ainley was shrunk and burnt alive. He was also attacked by a dinosaur. All sorts of stuff happened to Anthony Ainley's Master, and yet a few episodes down the line, the Master's alive.
I want to go through the ending, right? Let's try and make some sense of it. Okay. So the Eye of Harmony needs to be closed, and the only thing that can do it is this chip from a beryllium clock, which will reboot the TARDIS or whatever, so it can do go back in time, or it'll close the Eye of Harmony, and obviously it's too late, but the TARDIS needs a jump start or whatever. So then the fuck off into the Eye of Harmony, cloister belt chamber, or whatever it is. The Master dresses, for the occasion, and he's using the Eye of Harmony to take to absorb his lives, using the power from the Eye of Harmony, which then will destroy everything. Right? Yeah. And then obviously Grace she managed to reboot the TARDIS again, so it all starts going back in time, and everything's put right.
Something like that. That's how I perceive it as well. Yeah. But why are they suddenly dead?
No, they were all killed, weren't they? They were killed by the Master. right?
But then they go back in time.
Nobody goes back in time. The TARDIS.
Oh no, the
back in time,
TARDIS brings them back to life.
which is normal. Yeah, the TARDIS was the one that brought them back to life. That's why the Doctor says, "Oh, TARDIS, you soppy old thing," or whatever he said. Right?
Okay.
It's because the TARDIS used some of its energy.
So they lived.
Who didn't like Adric then?
Well, but they lived through it all in the TARDIS because that's operating on whatever time, and everyone else went back in time outside the TARDIS basically, and saved the universe. Cool, I kind of get it now. It's just very dramatic.
Yeah, I just don't like it as an end. It just seems really, I don't know. It just seems really technical and a bit stupid with all the things going up into the air.
Craig,
the stretch.
some of the resolutions we've seen in Doctor Who have been absolutely fucking woeful. I wouldn't probably put this up there. It's not that bad.
It's not. It's not.
I'd rather have the anti-plastic of Chris Eccles.
I think Eric Roberts, his performance during the last scene was fine, but it was like chewing the wallpaper. It was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And doing a no thing always annoys me.
And then his voice started going like beast weird and all that. Hello, Mabel.
She's just cocked up. She's just cocked up.
That's Craig's dog.
Just in case you wondered what I was, one of the two hounds.
Is that Mabel?
It is Mabel. Yeah, it is Mabel.
Yeah. Excellent. That's for YouTubers.
Nice. Everybody enjoy that.
Dogs for YouTubers. There you go.
Get your dogs out for the YouTubes.
I love it. Just in case you're wondering what I'm stroking down here.
Don't go full dog.
Another question I've got. Yeah. The Eye of Harmony. You need to be human to open it. What?
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
I've got an explanation. I'm going to give you guys an idea. Give you guys the opportunity to explain that to me.
Because it works well for the plot.
That's why.
It works well for the plot.
I heard.
I
heard. In the Big Finish, the apocalypse element, they changed all the Gallifreyan tech to respond to human companions rather than to Time Lord companions.
There you go.
And then they changed it all back at the end, but he did say apparently that there'd be issues with the TARDIS's Gallifreyan tech, so that's why. There you fucking go.
But remember, this was done before Big Finish even started.
Well, yeah.
No, Big Finish was an explanation of it. Yeah. That thing was an explanation of it.
Don't take John's glory. That was fucking brilliant.
He's not taking my glory. He's just not fucking getting it. So shut up.
Okay.
Hey, I've got a fact for you. As I was doing some research earlier on.
Yeah.
So Matthew Jacobs, the guy that wrote this film, was the son of Anthony Jacobs, who played Doc Holliday in Craig's favourite story, The Gunfighters, and his dad Anthony took Matthew to the set while he was working on that particular adventure. Yeah, there you go.
Just for the record, if anyone ever recommends The Gunfighters on Progtor Who, I will not be reviewing it, at least in the next 4 months. Yeah, I know.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
We're supposed to accept challenges, and even if it's rubbish, we've got to accept it because
we've
been tied into this doing this fucking Doctor Who thing. So everybody's going to have
to...
We'll just watch some good ones for a while.
Yeah, remember, Craig, you've been slagging off war games for many years.
Yeah,
and now look at you. So you could change your
I like the the gunfighters. It's very different.
Yeah,
it's very, very different. That's for sure.
This is true.
Mabel wants to give an opinion.
So, what do you think, Mabel? Makes more sense than your fucking dad.
Suki. Give us some facts on the numbers.
The numbers. There's only one number really, which is 9.1 million, which is the viewers over here.
Sure.
It was also dedicated to John Pertwee.
Was it? Was it?
Yeah,
what?
he died the week before.
Died just after or before? Yeah,
I just died a week before.
Great, John Pertwee.
So they dedicated this to Eliza Roberts, who played the character of Miranda, who's Bruce's wife, and Eliza Roberts is Eric Roberts' real life wife. So it was like family thing. So he's there on screen killing his own wife.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Freudian about that, isn't there?
There's a master that was added to the list of actors. An actor that was added to the list of actors who played the master, and this is Gordon Tipple, and all you saw of him was in.
The one in the front.
That's
You see, again, I find that kind of the way the Daleks are there doing that squeaky exterminate. I do really like the beginning actually.
Yeah.
Despite all the fact it's drumming loads in and there's no need for any of it really. It's just purely for us guys that have been our fans.
The little Dalek voice at the beginning. Like
I don't like it at all. Yeah.
Dalek voice in there.
It reminds me of the Pet Shop Boys as well. They have a video with a thing that looks like that.
But I just don't get what if the Daleks have captured the Master and they've destroyed him. Why is they granting his last request, which is to go back to his own planet?
They have no emotion, do they? No.
Because they got to mention Daleks. That's the only reason why.
They've got to show a little CGI Scarrow as well. So
yeah. And it does look bloody good, doesn't it? That CGI effect of Scarrow, I tell you. Yeah. That first time that TARDIS flies and it goes oh, I can still remember to this day. My heart just nearly exploded. It was awesome. It kicked every possible thing. The Master, the Dalek, Scarrow, the TARDIS, the music. It was just like sex gone wild.
This is one of my favorite memories ever. Is getting this, you know. Just tidying that bridge until it came back in 2005. But the beauty of the Wilderness Years, as they're called, is that they had all, you know, you got like all these series with Paul McGann and Big Finish, and he really fleshed out his Doctor, and he's fucking brilliant.
Well, you had all the Eighth Doctor's adventures on the books were released. They started off well, but then they just got bogged down a lot. It became really, really hardcore.
The first one by Terence Dicks, The Eight Doctors, was a class book.
Good.
I'm much about the 17th of those. I still read those. I collect them, and I'm just working my way through. And I agree with what Suki just said. I found myself. I'm kind of read what the last one I read was during lockdown, and I kind of find it harder every time I read one to actually enjoy it. They started off as fun and really great, and now they're a bit turgid, really, almost as you go through them.
A bit like the Virgin books kind of thing.
I never read them actually. Never read them. I don't know why. I just didn't.
Virgin books. They're good. They're good. But they're very dark and very adult. You know, compared to the series.
I quite like that.
But the amount of new materials coming out in audio and written format was brilliant. And it tied in nicely for Doctor Who magazine at the time.
I was going to say the same thing. Doctor Who magazine during this time was just like a lifesaver.
Completely, because you've got the video reviews, the comics. They really went to town on the comics. They got good writers in. Andrew Cartmel wrote, for the comics and things like that. They really put the effort in. Everyone put the effort in for making this stuff. Also, by the way, on Amazon Prime, they're showing the Doctors. Which, do you remember the Mythmakers stuff they used to do? Which was like, they did one of each Doctor and companions and all that stuff. They're showing on Amazon Prime, by the way, all of them. Yeah, I didn't know that. I just found them the other night. They're not brilliant, but they're pretty cool. They were great at the time. I remember the Tom Baker Mythmakers.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go around and see if anybody's got any last words? Not last words ever. Just last words about the Doctor Who movie. Anything in your notes? So we'll start with you, Suki, because yours usually take forever.
Thanks. I don't know if that's a criticism or compliment.
Take the fucking pen out your mouth.
Shut up.
Yeah.
The one of the things I was wondering about is, when you see the firehouses and you see him in the Die Hard Bruce Willis film, they come off quite quickly, but then you've got Paul McGann and Daphne Ashbrook slowly coming down this firehouse. Right, I was thinking
Master of Time, isn't he? Master of Time. Just slowed it all down.
I wish I could do that at times.
I also like the fact that he's also dropping hints of people's future lives.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, he does it to the security guard, Gareth, about.
How did you know?
This is.
We don't know, do we?
Well,
unless he recognised him as recognised him from his future, what he was doing in the future, and gone, okay, this is what you did. This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
and he does it with Lee as well, doesn't he? As well, don't be here next year.
That'll be here next year, California.
But then Lee kind of goes, "Oh yeah, as if he knows what he's talking about. Like, if he knew what he was talking about, why is he having to be told that?" Sometimes, like John said before, there's a few moments of like dodginess here and there. His reaction wasn't what I would have expected.
I did. The Master did correct Grace's grammar, and I was very happy about that, and he went up in my estimation for that. So
you are a big grammar police, aren't you? I always think whenever I post anything on Progtor, I always think John might alter this.
I won't alter it. I'll just cast it visibly in front of everybody else.
A rolling of an eye.
The Doctor goes around dropping names left, right, and centre all the way through. I mean, he drops Freud, Marie Curie, Pacini. Who's the other one now?
Nothing new
Da
there, though,
Vinci.
is there? Nothing new.
No,
there.
but it's
Right.
nice the way he does it. It's a warming thing.
But Pet, we used to do it all the time.
Pertwee did it all. This is Paul McGann's Doctor doing it. And the one that really stood was the one Master says Genghis Khan was actually the Doctor. Right, and I was thinking, okay, because I've just listened to a podcast going on about Genghis Khan. Apparently, Genghis Khan's DNA is in about 40% of the world's population because of the amount.
Shagger,
Fantastic! It was gay, apparently. Genghis Khan, wasn't it?
It can't be that gay.
He probably
They didn't have
him.
that word back there, to be honest. But I think he
think-
quite liked his men and women.
I think he just saw a hole and went for it, regardless.
Yeah. How did he have time to fucking kill all these people?
crude,
Fuck him. He could never slept. Fucking and fighting. Fucking brilliant. That's what should come back, mate. Fucking and fighting.
We've already mentioned like the special effects that we've had, but there's a couple
Do
of
you want
that
to
really
fight it or fuck it? What?
The special
I'm
effects.
a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah. Did we have to
Suki,
invite him on here?
Suki.
John?
Suki, just go for it, mate. You two, shut the fuck up.
So the special effects, right? So we got the one which stood out quite early on was the snake effect. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That was really good. I mean, it looks quite dated these days, but
It does.
It for that time it just looked great. And the other one that stood out was the Doctor walking through the window. I think that was excellent effect. So you
The slimy gist snake was amazing. Like,
yeah.
YouTube.
Any more, Suki? Just ignore Bob. Anyway.
If you give me a few minutes, I can do that effect of the slimy snake on the screen.
Can you take out for YouTube, Sucky? And Craig, everyone.
Now that'd be a big finish.
Big finish. If I write an episode about it too.
Brilliant.
Craig's jizz dick. Sucky, got him on.
I was just
Oh my
going to
God.
say about the little creepy scene
Come on.
where Bruce Master is talking to the nurse, and he's standing there talking, and he slowly peels off his fingernail.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Weird.
yeah.
That is so nasty. Yeah, and I think that's about it because by the looks of it, it's already gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What about you, Bob?
Pull it back.
I'm really happy that that you decided on doing this. Just
Already off the
because.
cliff edge. Where were we going to pull it back from?
No, I'm just saying. I'm
Cut it.
I'm really
Sorry,
happy.
Hold on, Bob, hold on one second. You other two fucking shut up. Let him speak. This is how you host a fucking podcast, Bob. This is how you host a fucking podcast.
You got to be fair but fair, John.
Yeah.
Like Craig's slimy cock. So I love the fact that I had to go back to watch it because it's the most fondest thing. One of the most fondest things of Mary and Doctor Who, and I love it. I do love it, but it was good going back and watching it with reviewing eyes, like properly reviewing eyes and seeing their foibles, but still at the end of it having a massive smile on my face and looking forward to talking about it with you guys. So I'm just the only thing that I've always now watching it again, knowing that Paul McGann had to wear this horrendous wig, which looks all right and everything.
Looks
like
really
that.
real to me, actually. I didn't realise
It
it was a wig.
just doesn't look that bad, but it was a torture for him because he kind of wanted just to dress his normal hair, like a sort of Eccleston kind of plain look and all that. Now I like his costume. I think his costume's cool. His hair's all right. But I just kind of feel sorry for him because he's tough. Every time I see Paul McGann, he's always told that story of the wig. Yeah. And watching it today, I could really see fucking hell.
It's the Jesus thing. I think they must have insisted on doing that because it was the Jesus kind of reference. Well, there you go.
Wouldn't have been like that. That's the Western view of Jesus anyway, isn't it? His hair would not have been like that.
Well, that's what it is. There was no real snake either, but they put that in. It doesn't really make any fucking difference.
there's no. I mean, just for me, I'm always happy to look at this one and review it every few years. I think just to see how you look at it with different eyes because it is, like I said, such a special Doctor Who to me. Yeah. So thanks for having us. Yeah.
No problems, Craigie. What about you? Any last notes?
A couple of things, a few things I absolutely love about this because we've kind of joked about it quite a lot. I don't know why. I really love the Madame Butterfly bit in this. The fact that Madame Butterfly is playing during the regeneration, during the thing, and he references it. I don't know why. It's always like a marker. Whenever I hear it, I think of this story, and I think, Puccini and Madame Butterfly. I just love it. I love the Sorrento scene. I love that these shoes fit perfectly. It's such a great Doctor moment, and the way he does that giddiness with his feet.
Yeah, that reminded me of Matt Smith. That did.
Yeah, it's a beautiful scene, really nice. And then obviously, the music behind it, the musical score, I think is actually, I know once or twice it's a little bit dated, but as a general score, it's really quite romantic and quite lovely.
The score is epic for Doctor Who at the time. It's proper American epic film score, isn't it?
It felt like cinematography wise, it was a big budget. It felt like a big movie. Seeing Doctor Who in that sort of world, and then having the music behind him, like big music. Big movie music rather than just TV sort of. Although that made a hell of a difference.
Yeah. When you said about Madame Butterfly, that Puccini song, I do love that scene where Grace is running through the corridor in hospital.
That's
slow motion and all that, and to that music, that's a lovely scene.
There are some beautifully cut things. I know when you're watching it, analysing, you can see, like when the Doctor looks towards the camera and the light shining in his eyes. Okay, you can see when you're analysing it, the cinematography and the direction. But it's so beautifully. I've never really noticed them, to be honest, but she's a beautiful woman.
When she's in that corset.
I wasn't looking there. I was probably at that point appreciating the music, Bob, or whatever it was.
Talking about two hearts. So she's talking about two hearts, yeah?
See, this is unlike other Doctor Who stories. This has no political background. Look off! I'm talking. The two of you, John, host it properly.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just jump in. Bob, shut the fuck up.
That's John's catchphrase, by the way.
I don't want to talk about tits.
I don't want to
talk about tits.
Right, catchphrase.
Let's talk about tits, baby. Let's talk about
Go.
Great go.
Oh, there's something else. Oh, yeah. I love the scene, and I think it was really well paralleled when Chris Eccleston and Rose in the episode Rose, when they hold hands for the first time. You got Grace and the Doctors. They're running. There's this moment where the camera pans in on. They hold hands and they run together, and it's a really kind of it's fun. Yeah, it becomes fun at that point. They've obviously bonded. She's got over the shock. And it just feels warm. It's like, oh, here's the Doctor with his companion, and it's going to be fun again. And I really like that moment. I think, I can't explain how much this film has a special place for me, because I know it's dated. And when I watch it now, I can't help it. Sometimes feels like a bit of a Sunday afternoon cheap American movie. But it wasn't at the time, and that's the big thing. We're talking, how many years are we talking now? 96 this was, wasn't it? So we're
24.
talking, it's a long time ago, really. Bloody hell. I don't realise it was as old as that. But so, yeah, even now it stood up well. It's got its limitations, but a cracking story.
There's a couple of, I just realised there's a couple of other scenes. Is when the motorcycle cop is chasing them and then goes straight into the TARDIS.
Yeah, it's class.
And then comes
that is
back
cracking.
Yeah, that was weird. How did he turn around? What happened there?
He probably just turn around the console and just straight out.
Clara does it. She rides a motorbike into TARDIS.
Yeah.
Moped into TARDIS. I'll tell you one thing that's up there that's pissed me off, because I've not watched the Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray, but I've not watched it because I've not had no reason.
Is there any difference?
No, it's fucking not.
So I got the DVD, but I've not got the Blu-ray.
No, I was gutted. So I expected it to be sharp as fuck and like proper widescreen. It's not at all. It's just like exactly like a DVD with a couple of extras on, like the Night of the Doctor and that. So that pissed me off a bit.
It hasn't got the sound effects, has it? The cracking neck, because I looked for that. I didn't think so.
That's the extended version on the DVD. I think there's like a
bit where
you can have that. I'm sure that's on the DVD somewhere if you can press a button or something.
Oh, I'd potentially buy that then, just to
because that puts it to a 12, I think, rather than a.
Yeah, it changes the viewing rate when it took it out.
This movie's been released about 3 or 4 times now, hasn't it? Because it got released on the VHS, and then it got released on a normal DVD, and then they released it again as part of the Revelations box set. Just with all the extra added content. Then he was released again, as you says, as the Blu-ray, and I'm assuming it'll probably get added to one of the Sylvester McCoy box sets, or even a Wilderness box set for the Blu-ray collections somewhere along the line.
Yeah, you never know.
And we'll still end up buying it.
Yeah, there's no fucking point.
I think Paul McGann, if he'd carried on, would have been absolutely amazing as a Doctor. I just really wish he'd have had the chance to develop himself because he is fantastic. He's what the Doctor Who needed, to be honest. It'd have been truly awesome. I really
Bring
do.
him back. Bring him
Yeah,
back.
I would love. He was great in the Night of the Doctor. He was great in the Eighth Doctor series, and he was fantastic in this. Thank you, Matthew. Sorry, I'm trying to ignore him in the corner. Seriously,
Doctrix for YouTubers. Britain's Got Talent. Get on there.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. What I plan to do now, because I've just seen. Oh no,
John, we've only talked for 1 hour 7 minutes. We usually talk for at least 3.
I'm going to cut this down to 25 minutes of podcast by the end of it. I'm going to cut all the shit you guys were talking, just have me talking. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh man,
I'm in charge of this. Fuck it. Well, why don't we come back in a few moments and do some listeners' feedback?
Oh, yes, please.
Right, I need to go for a wee.
I didn't know there was listeners' feedback. Am I meant to see this?
Yeah. No, we'll Suck you'll sort it while I'm away for a wee.
It's in the check your WhatsApp. I just banged it all into that one. Right, and then once that's finished, you just delete it out.
Oh, can I just share something really exciting? And it will mean absolutely fuck all to you, but please just be excited about this. For the entire week, we've had scaffolder wars. We've had scaffolder wars. We've got scaffolding at the front, and it was meant to come down a week ago. And every single day, we've had to get guests move the cars off and bring them back on. And I basically lost the plot about 2 hours ago with our scaffolder, and told me I had to come down tomorrow. And he gave me this bullshit that it had to come down at 7:30 a.m. It was like, in a B&B, can't happen. He's just messaged to say, okay, car's out by 12 o'clock. I'll be there at 12. This feels like a massive celebration. I know it means nothing, but to me, this is like the best news. In fact, while John's gone, I'm just going to go and tell Matt because that'll get him relaxed as well. But
welcome to Scaffold Wars with me,
you have no idea.
Stimson.
We've had scaffolder wars
beat him.
Between the roofer and the scaffolder, and then it turned into roofer and B&B war. Then it turned into scaffolder and B&B war. Put it this way, I had a 50 quid cash tip for him, which is not going to happen now. Yeah. Even though I have sent him a friend request, he's quite sexy.
I was going to say you. He loves the sexual tension of fighting builder men. That's what he does.
I can't believe that.
Oh.
What was that? I heard somebody talking about
scaffold wars. Yeah,
scaffold wars.
Craig wants to bum the scaffold that he's having a fight with.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Sounds like something on
it's a normal Dame Whitby.
Right, where's my WhatsApp?
Shut up. Yeah?
What?
WhatsApp.
Oh, it's the new. Right, cool.
Got quite a bit as well. Just make sure there's nothing else.
We've got everybody. Hold on. Did Dan Pickle do 4 but put out of 3?
No, he did 6 altogether. He did the initial 3 and then he added 3 more, but they were all in some sort of weird order on Facebook or Twitter.
Right, cool.
Right, so I've had to put them into the order that I think you should have put them on. So there's 6 from Darren Pickles and about half a dozen from other people.
Right, cool. Right.
King Craig, he's probably rabbiting on about his scaffolder.
Probably, yeah. They're probably having a massive hug, elated that they've won their battle with the scaffolder.
One for YouTubes.
There's Stock Scuttle.
What's the score for tomorrow? Leeds, Liverpool, Leeds.
I don't know why I put Jack Wiltshire
2-1.
He's not very good anymore, is
you
he?
think Leeds will get a goal?
Yeah, I think they'll get a goal. What are you saying, Bob?
I'm just reviewing my. I forgot Jack Wiltshire's not very good anymore, is he?
No shit. I don't know why he picked Wheelchair.
I don't know. I just remember him being like the new Gaza, but he's shit, isn't he?
Yeah.
I might have to check. Can you change your squad still before?
Yep.
Yeah.
Before before 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can change as many as you want. I'd get rid of most of your squad.
I thought it was all right, some of it.
Yeah, we've got issues. Anyway, Fantasy Premier League.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you can say all that. Like, Harry Kane will get you fucking loads or whatever, but he could get fucked and injured all year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I've not picked
He
him.
gets injured anyway most seasons. He's always missing for
All right.
at least half a dozen games.
Wise football cunts.
Shut up. I got Deb involved. I got Deb in the league.
Have you?
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah,
I was trying to find fucking Jimmy Bullard and Paul Gascoigne and Gary Neville. They don't play anymore, do they? Bullshit. I don't have a clue who anyone is anymore.
Yeah. Right, are we all good to go?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back, and let's do some listeners' feedback. Let's start with you, Suki.
Well, we've got Darren Pickles, and Darren's put, I love the TV movie. Paul McGann was brilliant as the Eighth Doctor. Daphne Ashbrook was fabulous as Grace. Yi Ji So was great as Chang Li. Eric Roberts was deliciously OTT as the Master. I always dress for the occasion. The TARDIS console room was beautiful, and I wish we'd seen more of it. The movie was slick and had great action and wonderful performances. However, the story was a bit slow. It was lovely that Sylvester McCoy was there for the regeneration, but I think it was a mistake to start the movie with the Seventh Doctor. They needed to establish the Eighth Doctor with the general audience first. I can imagine that the US audience was quite confused by having a voiceover from McGann before being introduced to McCoy. The time would have been better spent with the Eighth Doctor and his companion. If the pilot had gone to series, they could have brought McCoy back for a flashback episode. As the first New Who in years, I rewatched it. I wore out my VHS that I taped off the telly and had to buy the official VHS. BBV's documentary Bidding Adieu about Sylvester McCoy's time in Vancouver filming the TV movie is superb. He's interviewed by Mark Gatiss along with Paul McGann and Daphne Ashbrook. I'm not sure how easy it is to get hold of it these days, as I saw it on VHS in '96. I know that BBV dramas from the '90s featured Doctor Who actors and myth makers. Doctor Who documentaries have been turning up on Amazon Prime, so it might turn up there. Sorry, I went on for a bit. No, it's excellent. That is Darren.
Cheers,
Thank you
Darren.
very much.
Dave Moore says, I must confess I really disliked the movie when I first viewed it, but then it slowly grew on me. Paul was outstanding and deserved a full season. Excellent, Dave. Thanks. Craig?
Dwayne Bunny, congrats on 50 fantastic episodes. Love listening to your dulcet tones. I enjoyed Doctor Who the movie on first viewing. I was disappointed when it wasn't picked up as a series. And yes, in hindsight, you can pick it to bits. But in '96, I thought it was the only hope of any New Who on telly. And McGann was and still is an incredible Doctor that is incomparable to any other. Cheers, Dwayne. I think that's pretty true.
Excellent. Bob, do you want to pick up Sheps? And if you could do it in a Manchester accent, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
I'd pick up Sheps anytime.
You fancy Sheps? Oh my god. No one's fucking sacred, are they? Jesus Christ. After 7 years of Now Who, as a fan, I would have watched anything. I was in need of a good fixer. A line of Who to blow my mind. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was asked. I can't do it. I was asked to say the only one in the household to watch it. I wanted so much more from it. I remember first watched. I was mixed feelings on it. I obviously taped it. And watched it over again. I grew to enjoy it more. They had a challenge to make the story to a wider audience and still hold the fans who can who can be proper funny fuckers. You're right. Yeah. The TARDIS inside is phenomenal, and I loved it. The story's simplistic, but still a good ride. Wanted more. McCoy is one of my favourite Doctors, but McGann took it to perfect. Eric, I heard mixed reviews on him, and yes, I would have preferred his sister as the female Master than him. He tries, but I wonder how much he knew of the history to convey rather than another paycheck. All in, we got Who, but wanted more. More McGann, who is the star and could easily do many a TV series with, definitely. 7 out of 10. I just want to say, actually, just Sheps reminded me of the Twin Peaks link. Bobby Briggs' sister is Grace in real life. Yeah. Dana Ashbrook and Daphne Ashbrook. There you go. Anyway.
Thanks, Ships.
Yeah, Ships.
We've got Mark from Progtor Who, and he's put, I love Paul McGann as a Doctor. He became one of my favourite Doctors ever straight away. The TV movie has its flaws, but it's beautifully directed and looks amazing. It's slightly generic and falls to pieces at the end, but I loved it at the time and continue to enjoy it with every rewatch. It's an 8 out of 10 from me. Congrats on your 50th episode of Take Your Seats. Woo-hoo! Cheers, Mark.
Excellent. Bob, do you want to pick up the next one, please?
I thought it was Craig's turn, John.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just establishing dominance is what I'm doing.
You're just mixing it up, aren't you? That's absolutely fine, John.
Mixing up.
I love reading out loud. I remember at school.
Happy to be your sub, John.
I remember at school when I used to read out loud. I pissed myself with fear. Oh well.
Hopefully you can piss yourself again. Crack on, mate.
Without a TV movie, we would never have had the excellent 8th Doctor Big Finish Adventures. I thought I had this on DVD, but couldn't find it, so I had to watch it online here. Thanks for the link there, David. I know many people who I know many people don't like the canon, but for me, the 8th Doctor and his adventures is canon. I'm so glad too that Smith have made a proper regeneration send-off, if a little bloody. I also love San Francisco setting and locations. A great improvement on the south of England gravel pits. Post-surgery, I think the Frankenstein sequence in the morgue works really well, especially as Paul McGann seems to be always on Radio 4 documentaries about it, and Eric Roberts as the Master is not too bad. Brings a high level of pantomime villainy to the part. The Master demonstrating his knack for escaping from certain death in sticky situations and then taking over suspecting bodies, a nod back to Trarkham. The meeting of the Doctor and Grace is also well done, and her reaction as she comes to understand that he's an alien are superb. Good to see the 8th Doctor establishing his name-dropping of famous people, picked up by Charlie and Big Finish, of course. I appreciate Lee Chang's reaction to it's bigger on the inside than the outside. And also the irony of the TARDIS being parked in front of a Visit London advertising post. Actually, yeah, good point. I think there was a lot of fuss at the time regarding the 12th regenerations, the 12th regeneration, 13 lives, but the Doctor and Master have sucked in so much Artron energy over the years that the number of regenerations must be moot. And we now know how different the Doctor is anyway. I think there was a lot of fuss at the time. The TARDIS is first class. I love the console room, the cloister room, and the Eye of Harmony, all fantastically realised. So the MacGuffin, if only the Doctor can find the accurate time source, say a beryllium atomic clock, just happens that Grace has tickets. Puzzle that the Doctor does not does not recognise the Master as a fellow time unless the body swap confused him, and Grace and Chang Li considered companions, or is it just Grace? Overall, a good to great contribution from the lore of Doctor Who. Sets the production bar higher for what is to come. Anyway, I really enjoyed this again. So it's a 6.5 atomic clocks out of 10. I really like Paul McGann as a Doctor. Thank you, David.
Excellent. A little round of applause for Bob for reading it out so fucking well. That was quality.
A big one like that. Yeah.
Don't be angry, Bob.
Well done, Bob.
I'm too out of breath to be angry.
All right, so Suki, what are we going to be recording on our next episode of Take Your Seats?
We are going to have the wonderful Bruce Wayne back on again, and we're going to be talking about V from Vendetta.
Oh, nice. Excellent movie. So if anybody's got any comments they'd like to make on that one, we will read them out, just like we've read all these ones out on the pod. And then if anybody wants to join us and pick a film, you might have to wait till the new year to get one in, because we've got scheduled a load at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, just let us know and we'll try and make it a thing that happens. You never know. We can always work around you. We're flexible, aren't we, Suki?
Well, definitely flexible.
So
can you suck your own cock, Suki? Can you suck your own cock for the YouTubers?
I've tried that on many occasions.
For the YouTubers.
What? Just
record it off and I'll do it then.
What, Craig? You've tried to suck his cock on many occasions
for the YouTubers.
Wow!
Get your top off, Craig.
I'm just doing the dog because I was.
Get your top off.
I'm I'm sorry about that, Suki. That came out slightly wrong, but just drop me a number if you've got any time.
Came out slightly wrong. Nice. So thank you,
Disgraceful.
everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank
Hope
you.
you've had a nice, relaxing pod for a change, Bob.
It's
So
been
that's
great.
Yeah, it's been disgusting.
It's almost reverted back to the ultimate smut we used to do years ago.
It's
It's
based
been
on the big Craig of old. It's terrible.
It is, because you've been quite serious doing Progtor, but this is like going to a whole new base level.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, you brought us down to a sick level. Thanks,
great.
lads.
Thanks, pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
But, that has been our pod. So from Suki,
Okay. Bye. Thank you very
Bob.
much, guys.
But shut up, Sucky. It's my turn. Bye.
Craig,
Shut up, Bob. It's my turn. Bye.
Fuck you guys. I'm
and
going home.
myself, it is goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ta-ra. See you later.
Oh, jeez.